Okay, in this video I'm going to give a couple tips about the benefits of refusing a job, or turning down a job, some ideas and tips about pricing in terms of property or interior photography, and also the dangers of being out of your depth. So I got this good email here from, we'll just go with Jim here. It says, a friend and I are both keen amateur photographers. We would love to live the dream of making a living from photography. We both love taking landscapes but have been discussing the possibility of starting up a business. We have been talking about how we could get started and also think that the best chance for us would be architecture and interior design. Architecture and interior design is very different from real estate photography, so just be careful with the exact terms that you're using there. But if it is architecture and interior design, go for it. I have shot some finished interiors of buildings, and I'm pretty handy with Lightroom, and I've been teaching myself Photoshop with some good results in post-production of my images. I think estate agents in Ireland take their own photos, so this market would not be good for us. I don't quite know the Irish market in terms of real estate or property agencies, but sometimes, yeah, it is, some agents just don't quite understand the value of good marketing of their properties, or good images of their properties. Not necessarily always for selling that property, but also for selling their agency and showing the effort that they go into in marketing properties. Anyway, that's a whole different video. We both have very basic equipment, as in Canon 600D and 18-35 kit lenses, tripods, but also my friend has bought a Canon 75-300mm, which cost him €2,200. That can't be right. That really can't be right, because if I just simply type in that number, that lens is £90 or £104, and in euros that'll be like €120. So if your friend bought a 75-300 Canon lens and cost over €2,000, I have no idea what's going on there. There's somebody has been taken a ride for. That's like robbery. It's just like, that's like 100% increase, or 100 times increase in price. Odd one. Okay. We've been asked to go and shoot some interiors of a large concert venue in Dublin, called the 3 Arena, formerly known as the O2. We got this opportunity through a friend's sister. A lot of your work as a building fledgling photography business will be through recommendations from friends, family, and then so on and so forth from there. This is a large venue, 10,000 seater, and numerous VIP bars and corporate areas. It's the VIP and corporate areas we have been asked to shoot initially for publicity shots for the website and brochure. Oh, for brochures as well. Okay, so definitely good knowing the kind of end result of where the images are going. That definitely tells you of how much more kind of effort that's required in the post-production, and you sometimes also need to get confirmation from the printers that make the brochures what colour profiles they use on their computer for when editing and stuff. Because what you don't want to go, oh yeah, that's white, send it off to their printers, and then it comes out all orange. You're like, that's not how I took the photo. So double check with whoever it is that does the actual brochures that the colour profiles that they use on their printers is the same that's being used on your computer screen. Now here's the interesting bit. They normally employ a pro who charges them thousands. Now they're asking us. Okay, let's hope you're getting some money for this though, because this sounds like a pretty big job. So I was wondering, can I give him some advice? Are we going to make fools of ourselves and look like pure amateurs? Are we completely out of our depth? Possibly. Is our lack of experience skill going to let us down? Is our amateur equipment going to let us down? Okay, hold on. Okay, so I've just done it 3arena.ie, and the internal shots here look lovely, great lighting. There's obviously been a little bit of flash used in this one, but that is a very low light situation in that place. Ooh, okay. Oh, okay. Next one. You're going in for another. So this is their Audi club. Oh, it's all changing here. Again, low lighting and extremes of the lighting spectrum. So you've got super reds and you've got deep blues as well. That one's a lot of reds, low light, a lot of stuff in sharpness there. Evening shot there. Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty. That image there is a struggle for a sensor to capture that information. But other than that, there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of other internal shots. No, that's kind of it. So yeah, I would be interested in seeing more photos of inside. So this is what you do. So what I would say is, yeah, if you're shooting, first of all, with the Canon 600D and the 18-35, yeah, you're not going to go too well with that combination. You're definitely going to need a tripod. You're definitely going to need a wider angle lens. I'm talking about the 10-12mm range on your Canons, because your Canon camera is a crop frame camera, and you're going to have to be doing fairly long exposures with this as well. So you're talking about maybe the 3, 4, 5 second exposures with an aperture of around about 5.6. If you're at 10mm, 5.6, pretty much everything will be in focus. That's fine. But because you want to keep your ISO down, so you get the most amount of color depth and dynamic range, certainly in a location like that where there is such a color depth, it's super red to super blue, and there is a dynamic range of we've got bright lights in here, but yeah, it's also very dark, and you don't want to bring in any noise into the shadows if you're editing afterwards and boosting the exposure. You're going to definitely need to do a long exposure to keep the ISO down, but you're going to need a wider angle lens here. So the 18-35 kit lens, not going to do you any good. The 75-300mm lens, there's got to be very little opportunity for that. Maybe a 50mm for some shallow depth of field, something going on there. Actually, maybe more the Sigma 30mm f1.4. I've done a review of that somewhere before. I'll put links to it down as well. That one might be good for just some more of the kind of shallow depth of field shots, kind of here's some flowers, here's a drink, all that kind of stuff. You're also going to have to shoot this when it's empty, or if you are doing it when there's people there, you've got so many other variables to deal with, people moving about, which could be very cool if you're doing a 3-4 second exposure and you've got a little bit of movement going on, absolutely fine. However, you've got to think of also like people walking around going, what the hell's going on here, knocking stuff off, insurance, all that kind of stuff. With the equipment that you've got, I would be renting gear for this kind of shoot. I'm not saying you have to rent full frame. I'm not saying you have to rent Micro Four Thirds. What I'm saying is that you definitely need a better lens, and you're gonna have to definitely have a good tripod. Yeah, you said you've got a tripod, okay, but you're gonna need a decent tripod for this. And possibly flashes. However, in the shots that are in there already, there's not a huge amount of flash being used. But this looks like the potential of a place that may need multiple off-camera flashes, because it is quite a large area. You need to sort that out. So your lack of experience, I don't know what your experience is. You're saying you're interested in it. You've done a couple. I don't know. Generally, I would say if you've gone from doing a couple of furnished flats to then doing VIP bars with very difficult lighting situations, I would want somebody else with me, kind of making sure that my shots are going to plan. I'd also probably want my laptop there at the time, so I can just transfer the images and look at them, not just on the back of the actual camera, but actually on the screen, and see how we can edit it there and then for the client. See, the client kind of goes, oh yeah, that looks really good, instead of the client going, no, that's terrible. There's also a lot of to and froing that you have to do with people inside the place regarding setting up the stuff, maybe moving plants, moving furniture, moving drinks, tidying up the floor, all that kind of stuff. So it's not a case of go along, take a couple of photos. If it's going to be something like this website which you're seeing here, it's a bit more. There is a lot of work to it, and so you need effectively like pre-deployment surveying. You've got to go to the place and check it out beforehand, figure out the angles, figure out the lighting, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, because that one looks like a tricky lighting situation there. So the next bit in your email, you say, we have been completely honest and with the venue telling them that we're just starting out, and we'll give them the images for free. If they like them and in return they allow us to use them for our portfolio or website when we get them, I'll go into that bit in a minute. I'm really scared, shit myself, help. Any advice for us in preparing ourselves? I've told a friend we need to get in ahead of the shoot to plan things, but he seems reluctant to ask. No, you absolutely do. For something like this, if it's local to you, get in there beforehand. Just walk in. You don't need to do anything. You just need to go in, check out the place, walk around it, go, hi, I'm shooting here next week, I'm taking photos of this. Just wanted to check out the location, maybe meet the bar manager if there's a bar manager in there, just so he's like, yeah, cool, I'll clean up the bar so we've got the right drinks in there and all that kind of stuff. Very simple. Walk in, hi, oh, you're busy. Okay, I'll walk out, come back later, you're nice and quiet, hi, I'm taking the photos. It's not too difficult. Any advice on shooting large rooms? Kind of already gone over that. Just, yeah, you're going to need a wider angle lens, and you're really going to have to think about how you're going to be potentially doing multiple exposures with something like this. Because they are so long, having one flash isn't really going to cut it. So you may need to do multiple exposures, maybe having to do exposure fusion or some HDR in this. However, I'd normally be like, oh, don't go with HDR, but looking at the shapes of these properties, of these areas, it's going to be a bit of a tough one, that's for sure. Okay, and the last thing is, any advice on things generally for starting up our business? How could we get more opportunities? And do we need better equipment to succeed? No, you don't need better equipment to succeed. But better equipment potentially means a little bit less chance of failing, of screwing up. If you have something which can capture a wide dynamic range and can do 8 frames a second, so you can take all the photos of the different exposures so that so it's easy to combine them in some photo editing software, that helps a little bit better instead of one that takes a photo every 2 seconds. It's photo, oh, a little shake, another photo, a little shake, that kind of stuff. Certainly with lenses, yeah, you need better lenses. A lot of photography, a lot of photographic situations in the world, you can happily do it with basic lenses. You don't need posh, fancy lenses. However, when it comes to property, especially when you come to interior and architectural photography, you need to have ultra-wide, without a doubt. The amount of estate photographers that I know who say, there's only 2 lenses I use, it's the 16 to 35 or the 10 to 20. So 16 to 35 if you're full frame, 10 to 20 if you're on a crop frame camera. So you need those lenses. F2 helps, but again, a lot of opportunities you can need to already stop down the image so that you're getting more depth of field. If the thing is, if this is out of your depth, there is actually benefit to you as a person refusing this job. Or I think a better way to describe it is you're not technically refusing, you are turning it down, or you're advising otherwise. So you're saying, I know somebody who's more equipped to do this. In a lot of situations where if somebody says, can you do it? So you go, yes, I can, and you go do it, you're taking up the bar manager's time, the event organizer's time, maybe they're having to close the room for a while for you to do it. If you do all that and their images come out not that great, then it's not just like, I haven't taken that great images, I'll come back again. It's actually, no, you've wasted maybe 3 people's time and effort and all that kind of stuff. So effectively, you can piss some people off if it's not a case of, I go in, I do it, I get it sorted, I'm out. I don't need to kind of fanny around for 3 hours, double checking exposures and all that kind of stuff. So that's where sometimes a professional photographer they charge the extra money, not because they take longer, but because they're quicker, because they can go in and go, right, you've got 20 minutes before the bar actually opens and all your customers come in, I can get this place shot. So that's something which you've got to think about. And if this is totally out with your experience level, sometimes, as you're saying, you've advised the customer saying, look, we're totally starting out here. there is sometimes, yeah, the owner or the person that's organised you may go, yeah, that's fine. The barman go, all right, yeah, so do you guys know what you're doing? The worst thing is if you go in and like the barman that's in the place tidying up or something, if he's got better equipment than you and he's like going, you guys, why are you doing it from that angle? What are you doing? Then he passes that information on and then the owner's like, oh, why did I even organise them? You don't want to start off with a bad reputation. Even though it may just be one little job somewhere else, a bad experience can progress through client after client after client. The other thing is if you go, hey, I've shot the O2 Arena, and somebody goes, oh really, I'll Google your images, and they go, they've not used a single one of your images. Yeah, you've shot it, but obviously it wasn't that good enough anywhere, so they haven't used it, so I don't know if you're obviously not qualified enough. The same kind of goes with like if you own a bar, and there's a great example here. There's one near where I live where there's a bunch of cyclists, and every weekend they go for a cycle around the hills. And then one day the bar said, "Oh no, you can't put your bikes in the back where there's a beer garden. Oh, you can't do that." And they go, "But we'll take it around the side and they just don't want to leave it on the street so they don't get stolen." They're like, no, can't do it. Go somewhere else. So with him telling that 6 cyclists, they lost 6 pints of beer worth of trade that day. However, they've also lost that trade for every other weekend because those cyclists will now be going, well, we're not going there again because the owner's a dick. So that's 6 times infinity. And then also the thing is that those 6 cyclists would have told their wives and their friends. So that would have spread out to the next kind of level of people. And then you go and meet those cyclists who are actually in a maternity group that you go and chat away to. And they say, oh yeah, that bar, the owner's a dick. Oh, right, okay. So then it spreads out even further to the point where then just from one issue of saying, no, you can't put your bikes in there, or a barman just being a dick for a day, potentially a loss of revenue of thousands of potential money. So, and that's why a lot of times you'll see shops and bars and restaurants in the place saying, under new management. Just to go, hey guys, we're not the same people that were here before, don't have the same opinion of us. That opinion, that kind of ideology can be taken through to photography. If you do something where they just kind of go, oh yeah, estateimages.com, they were rubbish, or they were dicks, or they didn't like pre-plan or anything, and they took 4 hours to shoot the place, and we had to keep all our clients outside, they couldn't come in, and the images, we just ended up using the ones that we had before. They tell their friends, maybe the barman tells his mates, a client comes in and says, oh, I saw your photos on your website. You might say, oh, don't use the guys that came in before because they're saying they advertised with us, but blah, blah, blah. It can just spread out. So it's a dodgy one. It really, really is. And the idea of giving the images for free, I'm also, from a professional's point of view, like, do you want to give the images for free? I would say give the images for free unless they use them. So you say, here, you can look at the images. If you want to use them, here's our photo license prices. So you license the photo. You don't give them the photos. You don't give copyright away. You keep the images. They are your images. You can use them on your site. You've taken the photos. But you offer the license for the venue or the property to use them for a certain amount of time. So on your license, on your usage rights, which you give away, you can say, yeah, you can use them for the next 6 months, it costs you 50 quid. If you want to use them for a year, it costs you 90 quid. Or something like that, per photo or per website that they use it on, around about. So giving them for free is a very much a grey area, which from many professionals' point of view, they would say, no, don't do stuff for free. Or do it for free, but charge for the images in the end. So yeah, it's a tricky one there. Or say, here's the images with our copyright logo all the way over it, or a watermark over it. And if you want to buy it, yeah, cool. It took us 4 hours to shoot the stuff and another 3 hours to edit the stuff. If you want to use it, we'll give you the license to use it as you wish for a year, and that costs £120 or 120 quid or something like that. And if the images are good, at the moment, there's no other photos on their website. They were going, 120 quid. Yeah, fine. We'll take that in beer money in the first 20 seconds of the bars being open. So to them, you've got to think, the bigger the client, if you're saying, oh, can we have 150 quid? That's nothing to them. They're just like, yeah, that's our spare change kitty under the drawer. So don't be afraid of charging. Do be worried of going totally at your depth. Great, they may not use your stuff, but you may waste other people's time. And if they know who you are and they pass on their information, it can be a bad way to start a fledgling company straight away. So just be careful with that. But certainly in terms of your gear, definitely go for that. So yeah, so what, turning down the job. So what I say, if you're turning it down, just say, look, I think it's a little bit over our depth. However, this is where you pass it on to another photographer who you know is good, or who you know has the gear or the equipment to be able to do the job, and therefore you keep your keep our reputation. B, you develop a better reputation with other professional photographers. So, oh, thanks for passing on the job. I didn't think you would do that, but cool. That's you've made me gain 600 quid. If I get something which I just can't do, but you're around, not a problem. I'll pass on the job to you. I've done that quite a few times in my own work in Edinburgh, where I'm like, I can't do this, but I do know a photographer that can. Get in contact with them. Pricing wise, yeah, I've said that. Just be wary of doing it for free, or just always kind of think, yeah, here's my license price, or definitely have a clause in your images that you deliver, just saying after a while there is going to be a cost to this. And the opportunity of fails, yes, if your time you're wasting on other people and if you're developing a bad name, or you put the images and there's no evidence that you've actually done all that stuff. Say, hell yeah, we shot the O2, and everyone Googles it and go, your images aren't anywhere, you're talking bullshit, developing a bad name. So just double check all those things. But if it's a tricky one, it's a cool opportunity, but maybe the case of getting a photographer who you know has a reputation already and tagging along with them. Or if there's a professional photographer in your town, just say, hey, can you do this and can we come with you? And then you can probably learn a lot of stuff about how he deals with clients. So there you go, hope that helps. Cheers, bye-bye. One last thing is that if you are on my photography channel, you may not know that I've got two other channels. One is my exercise channel, which you can check out, which is Dom Bauer Exercise. I think the actual name is just youtube.com/Dom Bauer. And I've also got another one on this channel, so I've got Dom's Talks. And a lot of that is going to be about me dealing with my first ever newborn baby, little Logan Bauer, born on the 4th of September, and so I'm learning to be a dad. So it's all my mistakes and all the things which I'm learning which are quite useful. So if you want to see more about little Logan and how he's getting on, check out Dom's Talks. And if you want to see, I've also got Dom's Flights as well. So again, I'm doing a lot of stuff flying my DJI Phantom around the places, and also going through the process of getting the license to do it commercially. So if you want to see how I'm doing that, check out the Dom's Flights channel as well, which I put all the links to down below. So thanks for watching, bye bye.